Okay, so the Empress, number 3. Oops. Make sure you can see that. Okay, so we automatically see here the goddess of love sitting upon her throne, surrounded by a lush, rich environment, holding her nice scepter and her crown, and all. It's just a very enchanting kind of card, which has to do with the sense of enchantment, is one of the keywords that I usually associate with this card when I pull it in a reading. It can indicate the idea of just being very appreciative and enchanted and in love with life. She's Venus, the goddess of love. But more often than not, this doesn't actually have to do with love in a romantic sense as much as a love with like an infatuation with something, with a concept or an idea, or more so of a state of being just very loving and fertile in a sense. And that being said, this sometimes can indicate when you pull it in a reading that there could be somebody who is in question who might be pregnant. This is if you are ever reading for somebody who's asking if they might be pregnant, if you pull the Empress card, the answer is usually yes. That doesn't mean that every time you see this card that means that somebody's pregnant. That's not necessarily true, but it is one of the cards that indicates the possibility. On the deeper level, this kind of has more to do with the idea of, fertility again, but the idea of fertility of possibility. So the Magician, we talked about earlier, because this is really what we're talking about here, is the Fool's journey through the cards. Starts out as the Fool and then becomes wiser as he goes on. He turns into the Magician and then listens to his own inner voice, which we talked about in the High Priestess. And now as the Empress, we see the potential that can come to fruition through combining these forces, this force of intention and learning to use our own abilities of manifestation, combined with the guidance of the inner voice and the higher self. Putting these things together creates an environment that is very ripe and fertile and pregnant with possibility. So once again, it doesn't necessarily mean pregnancy when you pull it, but it is one of the cards that can recommend that. So I usually like to throw that out there if I do pull this card. That pretty much covers it as a quick basic overview of the Empress. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I will see you in the next video about the Emperor is the next card, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. I hope to see you there.